This video is for Catholic men who feel like you have everything: the business, the wife, the kids, yet you still feel like a failure when you look in the mirror, when you fall again to lust and pornography, when you skip workouts and realize that you're just not progressing in your health. If that's you, you're not alone, and you're not necessarily just lazy. You just haven't installed the right systems. In the next 3 minutes, I'm going to show you why most high performing Catholic men fail, not because of weakness, but because they've confused discipline with deprivation. You don't need more willpower, you just need resurrection level systems. And if all of this sounds interesting to you, stick around to the end. There is a free 5 day one on one challenge that I've put together, 5 days of one on one access to myself, where we go through these systems, walk you through how to overcome lust, how to build out a workout plan, prayer routines to level up as a true Christ centered, elite optimized man, what we call a CEO man. Stick around. My name's Austin Simons. I coach Catholic men who've built 6 and 7 figure businesses, but behind closed doors, they're exhausted spiritually, physically, and they feel like they're just drifting out in their life. So if you've built success in the marketplace, it's time we build out the man behind that. You've got systems for everything in your business: KPIs, SOPs, business dashboards. Yet when it comes to your body and your soul, you're winging it or doing it when you feel like it. This is why pornography still wins. This is why your kids see a provider, yet they don't often see a present man. And this is why prayer feels like a checkbox rather than a relationship. And you don't need more time for this. What you need is a solid rule of life. The first step to building out your rule of life is going to be your prayer. What I want you to do is write out, what vice are we struggling with constantly and consistently? Once you've written down the main bottleneck vice, then you're going to write down the opposing virtue. So one example may be lust is the main vice that you're struggling with. The opposing virtue is going to be purity. Once we have our virtue and our vice, then we're going to build out your ideal perfect day when it comes to your prayer routine. Just to quickly talk about it, I recommend a morning, an afternoon, and an evening. You're going to write down exactly what you're praying, who you're praying for, and what you're doing in those allotted times of your day. One example could be, I say 3 Aves in the morning, I say my Divine Mercy Chaplet in the afternoon, and I'm going to do some meditation and an examination of conscience at night. That's a solid day of prayer that I have structured throughout my day. Once you have your day written out, we're going to zoom out and write out our perfect week. All this that's going to change is you can start to work in a weekly adoration visit, other daily mass visits, whether that's one extra mass, 2 extra masses, confession. All of these things should be mapped into your schedule ahead of time so you know exactly when we're going to do this. We make time for all other relationships in our lives, but when it comes to our Lord, sacraments, and prayer, there's no structure. The second step to a rule of life is going to be your technology, especially if you're struggling with lust, but even if you're not, this is a great one to follow. You should install some sort of accountability software and filtering software. I personally like Covenant Eyes. You also have an accountability partner who can see screenshots of your material. But what this is going to do is filter out any adult content websites. This is also going to just keep you more focused and off of places you should not be looking at. In addition to this software, we want to have a time limit or timer on our devices that will keep us from spending too much time on social media. If possible, get rid of social media altogether. It's important you realize your cell phone is a literal portal to hell in your pocket. So the more we can distance ourselves from that and create these guardrails to protect us for our purity, your soul will be in a much healthier spot. The third step to creating your rule of life is going to be, I want you to commit to a minimum of 2 to 3 times per week of weightlifting exercise. Compound movements if you're just getting started. And you're going to schedule these into your phone calendar and treat them like meetings, because they are, for yourself. This takes me to our bonus step. Every Sunday, you're going to have your weekly meeting where you plan out all of these things. And after building out this rule of life, you should now know exactly when throughout the week you're going to exercise and what exercises you're doing on those slots on your calendar. You're also going to know when you're going to confession, when you're going to adoration, when you're going to your daily mass, exactly what day, what time. And then you should know on the daily level of what you're praying, when you're praying, who you're praying for, and what you're doing during those times, all ahead of time. This is not deprivation or willpower. This is discipline with intention. When you install masculine systems like this, your fitness, your prayer, your accountability, your default becomes virtue, and temptation starts to lose its grip. And best of all, your family gets the warrior and the man that Christ has called you to be to lead them. Look, if this is the life you want, if that's the man you want to become, and you want to go deeper into these systems, go ahead and comment down below CEO or shoot me a DM on my Instagram page, CEO, and I'll send you over the details where you can join the free 5-day one-on-one challenge with myself, where we will go through these systems and many others that we go in our program one-on-one with you. I hope that was helpful for you and that it blesses you. God bless.